Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sound of Hope News. I'm your host, Wei Fang, and
this is Kathy Zhang.
welcome back to our show. So today, actually, I posted something in the community saying that I really have something to share with you. I want to validate whether my understanding would be true. It has to do with, why we got here today and what we should do in the next 2 years. And this is based upon our experience in China and our experience as an American, as an immigrant. Okay, I think it's relevant. So if you can, stay with us. At the later part of the show, I want to get into that part. And we do want to see how you respond to what we see as the reason and the solution to the current situation. Okay, and we got a lot of people who are making comment here. Maria Davis said, please send your love to our troops that are fighting for us. Yes, thank you. We'll do our best. Lisa Lambert, good evening. Kathy and Wei, good evening. Lisa, thank you for being with us.
Yeah, and John and Scott and Jennifer was the first one. Yeah, appreciate it.
And from Ohio. Happy to hear again tonight. Thank you very much. All right, so we got three pieces of news. One has to do with the current, the rage the country is feeling. Okay, regarding our National Guard, how they were treated, and we also will be talking about the impeachment. There's 2 impeachment cases moving along in the Congress. The third is about Google is taking its action against Australia. Why? What's wrong? Why do they want to mess with Australia? What's going on there? Kathy, the first piece of news.
All right. So, it's about the National Guard in Washington, D.C. When I, saw the pictures, I just, feel heartbroken. So some of you may already know that thousands of the National Guard. We have over 25,000 National Guards called from all over the country to go to Washington D.C. to make sure the inauguration was secure and was safe. But now how they were treated. So yesterday the news broke out that somehow all the National Guards were told to retract from the Congress. They have been staying there to protect them, and saying they have to just disperse. So at least 5,000 of them had to rest at a parking garage on the Capitol ground. And so
let me fill in a little bit. So before they move into the parking lot, because they were stationed inside the Capitol, which is there's 3 Senate building, right?
Right.
There's 3 House building, and they were staying at the Senate building in the cafeteria of the Senate. In the Senate, I was there, many times because of my job, and they have this very large floor, big cafeteria. So pretty much they just sleep there. And then yesterday, the Capitol Police told them that you guys need to vacate out. And then besides your duty, they got this 12-hour shift. Okay.
Right.
So how do you take your break? How do you rest? Including how do you sleep? You sleep in a nearby parking lot. Parking lot, there's no heater. They got
and just only one.
That's the picture.
Like one plug, the electric plug, and there's no Wi-Fi, and there's only one bathroom. Like
5,000
one restroom,
soldiers.
for 5,000 soldiers.
And it was in the low 40s, okay, last night. This basically happened last night. And trigger a uproar in the, over the media and in the both parties, and a lot of strong response to that.
Yeah, so what really happened? According to one guardsman, on Thursday, the unit which had been resting in the Dirksen Senate office building was abruptly told by the Capitol Police to vacate the facility. So they were forced to rest in a nearby parking garage without internet reception, and with just one electrical outlet and one bathroom with 2 stalls for 5,000 of them. So as Wei just mentioned, the temperature in Washington, D.C. were in the low 40s at night. So the guardsman said I quote. So yeah, let's put on what it is. It's a C7. So he said, yesterday, dozens of senators and congressmen walked down our lines, taking photos, shaking our hands, and thanking us for our service. Within 24 hours, they had no further use for us and banished us to the corner of a parking garage. We feel incredibly betrayed. So another guardsman confirmed that actually all the National Guards were told to vacate the Capitol and nearby congressional buildings and to set up mobile command centers outside or in nearby hotels. So, by 10 p.m. last night, according to Senator Martin Heinrich from New Hampshire, who lost both of her legs in combat, saying that the situation has been resolved so that the guardsmen would be able to return to indoor later at night. So she also said the Capitol Police have apologized to the guardsmen and that they will be allowed back into the complex tonight. So this morning, Capitol Police Chief Yaganada Pittman insists in a statement that the department did not instruct the National Guard to vacate the Capitol building facilities, but he did not explain why they were forced into the garage. So right now they are Congress is doing the investigation how this happened, and that someone said it's kind of a broke in the command chain. So according to Politico, the guardsmen were not given a clear reason why they were asked to vacate the building. And there were some reactions from a different front. So actually, World Central Kitchen, they provided a hot soup for the troop last night. So there was some warmth brought to them. And also remember the freshman House Representative Madison Cawthorn. He lost, he was paralyzed due to car accident, and he actually delivered pizza to the troop in the parking garage. Let's watch a short video. That's C9. So you can see he was packing the pizza into his truck. And then he arrived at the garage. Preparing to distribute the pizza.
Hey, yeah, you know what? I'm fun here. Which division is this? Maryland National Guard, Montana National Guard, Nevada National Guard. Well, hang on. I'm from National Guard. That's an honor to meet you. Nice to meet you guys. I heard you guys got kicked downstairs. We sure did. All right, man. You mind if I talk to you guys? Absolutely. Hey, everybody, got your guys' attention? Hey, guys, my name's Madison Cawthorn. I heard they kicked your asses down here, so we brought some pizza if anybody wants any.
Yeah, so Congressman Cawthorn, he tweeted that I just visited the soldiers who had been abandoned and insulted by our leaders. I brought them pizza and told them they can sleep in my office. No soldier will ever sleep in a garage floor in the U.S. Capitol while I work in Congress. Our troops deserve better. Yeah, so we know that more than 25,000 National Guards were called on to the Capitol to make sure the city was secure. And but now it seems the deployment is turning into a so-called a super spread event, according to Politico. The National Guards had struggled to implement a plan to test troops, okay, And right now, at least hundreds of them tested positive for COVID-19, and another hundreds of them being quarantined in a hotel right now. So actually, at least I heard three states, including Florida, and what is the other? Florida and other states.
Texas,
and
yeah. New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. The governors already called those National Guards from their states to go back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. And so, what do you think? Actually, there's another. There's photos about National Guard was invited into the Trump Tower.
That's right.
Trump Hotel. I'm sorry, in the Washington D.C., which is $500 a night type of hotel. And so the National Guard were invited to stay at the Trump Hotel while they were there. There's a photo also floating around in the internet. So why the different treatment, and who would shoulder the responsibility? Actually, Senator Schumer in this morning he spoke and apologized for that. He said he will get to the bottom of that. He talked to the Capitol Police and promised that this would never happen again. But why did it happen? What's the reason? Why the different treatment? And what do you read out of it? If you have your thoughts, just type there in the chat room so that we know that how you think about that. So again, this thing
let's see the tweet about how some of them were staying at the Trump Hotel.
Okay, yeah, thank you for our DJ for putting this in the not short notice, no notice, but it's good. You see, that's a different type of scenario. So. And okay, so let's move on. The impeachment against Trump is continuing. And the House Speaker, Nancy Pelosi, said she will be moving that. She has not announced that when she will be just send that to the Senate, but for sure that they will be doing that. And then on the Senate side,
let me just add that.
Is there any update?
She's announced that she will send it on to Senate next Monday.
Okay, now that's fairly quick.
Yeah, and
then not waiting. Yeah.
Right. Then Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer announced today that the impeachment trial will begin the week of February 8th.
Which is really just half a month later, right? And so what would happen there? And as I shared with you yesterday, this is my point of view, okay? This is the impeachment. Why it happened? First, it's a big constitutional question, okay? Should you impeach someone who is already left the White House? Does that violate the Constitution? The country never seen anything like this before, so there's no precedent. So it's a legal debate of whether that would be a valid use of the Senate, the impeachment, that would be constitutional. There's a different opinion, but per my research, most legal scholars tend to think it is not constitutional, because the impeachment is meant to remove somebody from the public office, not when they already left the office. You go after them and try to basically punish them. And okay, let's get to the bottom line. So we know that the impeachment trial will happen, and because Schumer wants to do that, and let's assume that if Schumer is able to rally his 50 votes from the Democratic Party, then he would need another 17 from the Republican senators. Would that happen? Actually, the media is very busy running around, especially the leftist media, and try to knock on a lot of doors, try to tally the number of whether that 17 votes will come together. So far, well, CNN, I read a piece of news, although I don't trust them on most things. On that one is probably, I think it's okay. All right, they said there's not enough, even a handful of Republican senators who would be voting for the impeachment. Mitt Romney could be one, and Susan Collins can be one, and the other I don't remember, Timney or something from the Pumney from the Pennsylvania. So they were able to count 5 to 6 names. That's the max number they can count. So the CNN's conclusion is the chance is very, very slim.
Yeah. On the other hand, there are other senators who are trying to, resist this impeachment. For example, Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, let's see, C1. He said that President Biden needs to decide if he wants an impeachment trial more than his preferred cabinet. He took to Twitter on yesterday actually, so to post a comment that he suggested the Senate might not confirm Biden's cabinet nominee if the Democrats proceed with an impeachment trial against former President Donald Trump. He said Democrats can't have both ways, an unconstitutional impeachment trial and the Senate confirmation of Biden's administration's national security team. So he said they need to choose between being vindictive or staffing the administration to keep the nation safe, so which will be revenge or security. That's Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. And yesterday we updated you with the Congresswoman Green from the Georgia, right? She's moving ahead with her impeachment, and in the House, and we'll see that. So basically, yeah, two cases are both going on. Mm-hmm. Now let's take our eyes upon Google. Google is threatening Australia with a no search engine. So what is that about, Kathy?
Yeah. So actually, in Australia, the government has proposed a law that would force Google to pay news publisher for their contents. Remember, there's Google News, right? So they just aggregate the news pieces from different outlets and different publishers. So in Australia, they plan to just require Google to pay to those news publishers. Google attempted to lobby against such plan, and Google claimed that Australia is attempting to make them pay, right? And they said that it would set an untenable precedent for their business and the digital economy, and that it's not compatible with how search engine work. So Australia Prime Minister Scott Morrison responded to Google's recent statement very quickly. He said, "We don't respond to threats. Australia makes our rules for things you can do in Australia. That's done in our parliament. It's done in our government. And that's how things work here in Australia." And Australia's Competition and the Consumer Commission, which drafted the proposed law, stated that the law should not affect Google's search business, saying that Google will not be required to charge Australian for the use of its free services such as Google Search and YouTube unless it chooses to do so. So it looks like Australia government is pretty, determined to take on to Google.
Okay. So let's see. The last one I want to talk about a particular thought, okay, that I have since last night, okay. So because I do see that there was a lot of disappointment and disheartening among our viewers. Many of you are, plainly said Trump supporters, right? And then another thing is just our Chinese viewers, okay, they were saying that in the program they said there's no future, okay, because when Trump is the president, he cannot secure his presidency, and then a legitimate presidency, right? So after that, after he's become a common citizen, how can he ever be able to? That's sort of the question. So I indeed thought it over. I just want to share my reflection with you and see. I want to validate with you whether what I thought it would be true. Okay, so actually, for people from China, okay, we got used to believing power is power lead to power. Okay, when you have power, when you have president, you're in a much more advantageous position to secure the presidency. When you're not in the power, you don't get that. it's become even harder. So what can you do, with the problematic that counting machine, right, voting machine sitting there, and there's no way to get rid of it, and in the second, third, fourth, whatever election will lead to the same result. So they were even more disheartened. So I told them this, okay, just tell me whether I'm wrong. Okay, I told them that don't think it that way. Don't, please. That's the Chinese way. That's the Chinese way. In China, we believe power leads to power. President Trump's power did not help him this time. He did not use it, right? He did not use it. So he was respecting the entire system, specifically the election system. It was the election laws that run through the whole process. And then, so the other side, okay, they don't have power, right? They don't have power. They want they somehow, they get the presidency. So what you said is not right. I said, well, was not right. But however, something's wrong. Something's wrong. And I know that there is this moral, this faith, that are things we talk about, which I firmly believe in. If America is a good country, then America will be great. I'm sorry, if America had good people, America will be great. If American do not have good people, it won't be great, right? This is actually this is a French person, how to say, the jurist, a French legal expert who toured the U.S. right in the 1830s. His conclusion. So anyway, so what's wrong with our country in the last 3 months? There are many reasons and many factors. I just want to talk about just one thing, one little thing. Okay, our election system, our election law. Okay, as we all know, that election law was written by the state Senate, state assembly, and then it was executed in the county, in each and every county. We got our election, election committee or election commission. They were executing this, running this election, and they tally every votes, and the entire election system is only for good people. All right, we have no voter ID, we have no strict laws, we have no clear definition, clear and unambiguous definition. Definition of things. For example, just like look at one thing, the voting count, the count watch, right? So, in the Philadelphia county, in the Pennsylvania, on the election night, right? You are supposed to have a Democratic Party's, poll watcher and a Republican poll watcher there watching the count of the thing, but the Republican poll watcher was driven away. You stay 60 feet away, and why they are able to do it? Because it's legal, right? It is legal. It was legal because the Pennsylvania election law said, as long as the poll watcher are in the same room, then it's enough. So they pick a very big hall in the Philadelphia county, very big hall. they just drive you 60 feet away so that you cannot see anything, you cannot watch anything, but you are in the same room. Okay, because of that, it was not legal and you cannot watch the counting. So that thing happened in many counties and in 6 states on that very night. So that's just one example, right? Mm-hmm. And it's legal. It's legal, right? So I think in late November, when the attorney Sidney Powell was, she was speaking there, and with tears in her eyes, and she said, I cannot possibly believe true American could do something like this. She couldn't believe it. And I just want to use an analogy, right? Really, there's one viewer, one friend, one folk that wrote to us in the comment, talking about his or her, I'm sorry, I don't remember, it's a he or her, parents. They live in a small town. Mm-hmm. The small town, they don't even lock the door. It's all good people in that town. The parents left the home and go about their business and come back and just push the door open, and they're back in the room, in the house. Someday, somebody broke in, somebody not broken, somebody walked in and just stole something. They were so shocked. What? People are not supposed to steal other people's things. I cannot believe there's this, thief here. Okay, after reflecting that, and they locked the door. After a good while, somebody broke the window and it took something away. Then they start to learn to safeguard the window. So gradually they learn through this kind of lessons, know that there are people who are not like them. Okay, and they broke broke the window. They would just come in your house and take things that do not belong to them. I don't know, to be honest, folks. I think many Americans just like them. You don't know that people would steal votes. You did not expect that. So the election law is only for good people. In China, in Taiwan, in any nation, it's inconceivable that you don't have a voter ID. It's simply inconceivable. What are you talking about? How can you possibly run the election without not just voting ID? Sometimes you need a two ID. You need a citizen ID.
But I doubt the Chinese people would think of that because they don't really have any idea how elections should be done.
Yeah. Thank you for correction. So in China, we don't have that. Let me correct myself. Like in Taiwan, for example.
Yeah.
Right?
Taiwan people know.
Or in Hong Kong or in Singapore and things like that. And Singapore is a bad example. I don't know how they do voting. Anyway, but in most democratic nations, when they vote, they have clear rules. They don't have so many loopholes. I think.
If you allow me to
Please.
just add something, because I just think of something. Actually, I interviewed some professor before. She said that, for example, in French, they never do mail-in ballots because they know it just opens the door for fraud. So in French, early last year, they did an election amidst of the COVID-19, the pandemic. Still, they did in-person voting.
Yeah. So like in Taiwan, I don't know. Maybe I shared yesterday. In Taiwan, there's just paper ballot. There's people just from both parties. They're very similar. They have two parties. They watch the counting of every single vote. So it's very hard for things to go wrong. Okay, but I think in our country, the country has been going through, since 1865, there's no internal war. There's no civil wars, right? The country has enjoyed peace for 160 years, 60, 70 years. And to Americans, this is normal. We never have a war. So we just have one or two wars, 1812 and then 1861. So it's got used to it. But in most nations in this world, no. War happened every a few decades. The world, most countries do not enjoy such long time prosperity. So American let go the guard, and then they are used to just good people living in a good country. In the meantime, I think, to be honest, allow me, I don't mean to offensive, and I could be wrong. The country also lost its root, as I shared before. What does Constitution means? And what's the value behind the Constitution? Even those elected public officials, people who go to Washington, D.C. and work in that House building or the Senate building, as we just saw, they do not necessarily know their Constitution anymore. The school don't teach it, and the church don't teach it, and the family, dinner table, parents don't teach them. So we lost them. But what are left is it's just perception. It's a great country, and then we never tightened up our election law, and so this time in the past 3 months, somebody took advantage of that. As they took advantage of that, as they rallied possibly thousands, or even more than 10,000 people, staff on the election night to do those funny things. In most cases, literally, they did not break the law. Because the law is so loose, they did not break the law. They did not have to run the risk. They just did what their superior supervisor told. All right. So because there's no tight election law, the house is all wide open. Because we think there's only good people, nobody would steal things. But it happened this time. So we were caught off guard. So I think besides, I don't know. Do you agree? This is what I see as simple as that. And so. In terms of solution, one thing, of course, would be we always go back to our root, rediscover our value, and rebuild our value, and making sure every American, young and especially young people, making sure our school would teach those values. In the meantime, in this 2 short years, 22 months away from the next election, whereby all 435 Congress people will be reelected, okay? 1/3 or 33 of our senators will be reelected in 22 short months later. We need to steer the country in the right direction. That started with each of us, with our county.
County and the state.
County and the state. So it becomes something just near us, right? So if each of us really just go knock on the door of your supervisor, county supervisor, and your state assemblyman's door, and you bring him 300 petitions, signed petitions saying that we use paper ballot and we need to tighten up our election law. We have to have a citizen ID. This is not extravagant. This is most basic thing, and we insist on this. If you don't do that, we're going to vote you out of the office, and we mean our business. If people in this country all do that for 22 diligent months, I think we're going to change the situation. And this is exactly what President Trump promised to do. Okay, the day before, he's going to focus on the election integrity. So this is what I see. I think we have so loose election law. That's not bad. That means we were a good nation. I feel proud of that. We don't have to create complicated law to watch over everyone. Okay, that's the fortune of the United States. You don't have to. You did not have to have complicated law to guard people. That's always the bad thing. Okay, what guard ourselves shall be the value in our mind. Our faith that automatically just guide us. But unfortunately, the world has come to this step. There are bad people. People learning from CCP. People learn how to do bad things. People learn how to steal. And we have to put a lock to our door. We have to safeguard our window. We have to, just safeguard our house so that our house does not get stolen. So I think in the next 22 months, besides pray and be strong, in our will, I think specifically we have to tell our fellow countrymen, we have to talk to our supervisors, our state assemblymen and our state senator, saying that we use paper ballot, we tighten it up, the election has to be honest election. We use our system to tighten it up so that people won't be at least stealing it away so easily. Okay, that way we can come back with our real, the will of the people. And that's how I think. I don't know whether you agree with me or not. I want to find out. And if you think, no, it's have a wrong diagnosis, or you think it makes sense. If it does make sense, shouldn't we start thinking about our action? And also, just suggest to us what help do you think that we need, and whether, we as a journalist, also we actually, as a matter of fact, we reach many, many Chinese viewers, right? They are very, very concerned about the U.S. They cannot believe the freedom of the U.S. can be compromised. They want to help too. Okay, they want to help too. So that's my, that's my word of today. All the more I want to see a response. Okay.
Yeah, I saw one comment saying, I agree with Wei until he said they didn't really break the law. So I kind of concur. Maybe he said it's a bad choice of words. Whether break the law or not. Maybe some of the judges saying they didn't break the law, but I think it's really the interpretation of the law, whether we really truly interpret the law or they just took advantage.
Yeah, think about it. In the entry, remember that the Michigan at a certain point, they cannot resist a call from the people. They agree to re-audit the votes. So in the Antrim County, so remember we played this video for you. There's these volunteers, from the community come here and they were looking at this vote is funny, okay? This ballot is funny, right? So the supervisor is saying that ignore them. Your job is not this. Keep counting, okay? The state secretary need our number. Keep counting. They will say, no, wait. Something's wrong with this ballot. They say, it's not our job. That's not your job. You're not here to do this. Keep counting. Remember that? That's how they sail through that audit. Because the laws didn't say that when you run into a problematic ballot. What should we do? There's no law there, right? So that supervisor simply just forced her way through. And these poor 2 volunteers couldn't do anything about that. That's because we only have election law that are good for good and honest people, not for thieves. All right. So that's another example. Right. So take things into our own hands. Remember, it is the county that does the election. It is not federal. It's not Democratic Party and things like that, or Republican Party. Right. It's really about our local community issues. We can find a few neighbors and be diligent on that for 3 months. You can generate some result. You go speak at the county supervisor meeting and speak loudly there. This is ridiculous. Our county has to be serious about our election, and you guys have to tighten it up. Otherwise, we'll do our best to vote you out of the supervisor's council. How about that? Okay, so that's what I want to say. I do want to read your comment here, and also after this is over, I think you can leave comment. I want to find out. I do want to do my own share of diagnosis. And from that may lead to more help. I'm sorry, more help and more solution. And we need to safeguard our freedom. So we got to think and take action.
Yeah, I saw someone said agree with Wei, but paper ballot may not be the solution.
Okay, so what would it be then? What would it be then? A blockchain?
Yeah, just provide your ideas.
Yeah. So what it means is simply make it a safeguard. A locked house. It's not so easy to break in. I'm not saying that by do paper ballot and by voter ID, you're going to eliminate all issues because bad people always do bad things. They manage to do bad things. But it would be much harder for them to convince 10,000 election staff to go their way when they realize there's lock there. If I break that lock, I'm breaking the law. Am I willing to pay that price? This is average American we're talking about, guys. Right? It's much harder for them to convince 10,000 average Americans to break law and become criminals for them. It's hard. It's harder. And at least there's some resistance. In the meantime, I do agree the fundamental solution would be here. Our value, our faith, American are good people. We get rid of bad people. Okay, that's
yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a preacher or anything. That's just indeed what my thought.
Yeah, a lot of great comments. I saw Jennifer said, "I won't give up on trying to achieve a fair election. The system may be rigged, but I'm certainly not going to make it easy for them. They are going to have to work hard to erase my vote."
Exactly.
Yeah, very determined. I like that.
Yes. So President Trump, I think he sets his agenda on this, and it's a very, very good short-term solution, and I think we should support that very idea, and give our own time and effort, and and in the meantime, on our end, of course, I do not have capability to run around, and I'm not an activist here. Okay, what I want to know is what I can do is run this media to reach as many viewers like you. Okay. And if they nod, and if you agree, then this action can snowball and become a bigger and bigger action. We can impact more counties and more states, and then until we rectify our election. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, quite a few people said voter ID is a must.
It's a basic. It's not just it's basic. Not a must. More not how does this ultimate solution? It's really the basic. Have to have it. No question about that.
Yeah, I want to appreciate Theophistus 3.0. Sound of Hope News, I made a PayPal donation for $25 directly to you so YouTube doesn't get their share. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for your donation. Yeah, so for quite a few of our viewers asked about how to make direct donations to us. So really appreciate it. There's look at we have just provide you the link on the donorbox.org. You have actually three options in terms of how to donate directly to Sound of Hope. So really appreciate everybody's support.
Yeah, my last word is still voter ID. As I read, Marcus, you wrote voter ID shall be the minimum requirement. I think we need to speak this this opinion of you in a very determined and a strong way to our elected officials, especially on the local level, in the county and the election commission and our assemblyman. Be very, very strong. This is, we don't back down from here. Okay, if you don't accept that, we vote you out of office. And so be very strong. People's will, people is the sovereignty, right? This is the basis of our constitution. People is the sovereignty. All right, that's by design. So we do have system to implement what I suggested, if you think it's right. Okay, I guess that's all for tonight. And for tomorrow and the day after, allow us, we'll take a break. So we've been working like 7 days a week or 6 days a week for months, for 3 months, right? So yeah, so we'll be absent and wish you have a good weekend. And we'll see you next Monday and through next Friday.
Yeah, try to have a good rest as well, everybody. So take care. We'll see you on Monday then.
Good night.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.
Bye.
Bye-bye.